The Charter Act of 1833 was also known as the St. Helena Act. So this act was the final step towards centralization in British India. I repeat, the final step towards centralization. How, you ask? So let's just examine the magnification of powers of the Governor General of Bengal here. First, under the Regulating Act of 1773, Madras and Bombay presidencies were made subordinate to Bengal, correct? And then under Charter Act of 1793, the Governor General of Bengal became even more powerful because the governors of Madras and Bombay became even more subordinate to him than they already were. But under the Charter Act of 1833, the Governor General of Bengal became the Governor General of India. Imagine this, the Governor General of the entire country. The Governor General of India had all the civil and military powers, and therefore this act for the first time ever led to the creation of Government of India. The government that had authority over the entire territorial area possessed by the British in India. Also, who was the first ever Governor General of India? It was William Bendik. This is very important, remember this. This act also deprived the Governor of Bombay and Madras of their legislative powers. The Governor General of India was given exclusive legislative powers for the entire British India. Can you believe this? The little powers that were left with the governors of Bombay and Madras were also taken away from them. Another important feature of this act that you need to remember is that the laws made under the previous acts were called as regulations, while laws made under this act were called as acts. So in effect, there was a change in nomenclature. Remember, regulations became acts, under which act? The Charter Act of 1833. Another important feature of this act that you need to remember is that the laws made under the previous acts were called as regulations, while laws made under this act were called as acts. So in effect, there was a change in nomenclature. Remember, regulations became acts, under which act? The Charter Act of 1833. The Charter Act of 1833 also ended the activities of the East India Company as a commercial body and turned it into a purely administrative body. It provided that the company's territories in India were held by it in trust for His Majesty, his heirs and successors. Remember, in trust. So what was left of the East India Company after being in existence for 233 years in India? It was reduced to a simple administrative body. The British government told them, don't worry, we will look after the trade and commercial affairs too. You just stick to taking care of the administrative affairs from now. The Charter Act of 1833 also attempted to, I repeat, also attempted to introduce a system of open competition for selection of civil servants, and stated that the Indian should not be debarred from holding any place, office or employment under the company. What do we mean by the open competition in this context? The same field that you are aspiring to play in. Yes, it means the CSE, the Civil Services Examination. However, this provision did not go through because it was negated after protests from the lousy Court of Directors. Also, I don't think this bit is mentioned in any of the Laxmikanth editions, but the infamous Macaulay was introduced to the Governor General's Council under this act itself. He was inducted into the council as a law member. We will study more about him going forward, and we will also come across his name frequently when we study modern history.